Gentleman in the middle is my son, Sam, and the gentleman on your right, my left, is Charlie.
Hello.
Gentlemen, how we doing today?
Not bad. Can't complain.
Yeah. Okay.
That's good. This is episode number 94. It's a good one. It's entitled the Great Debate Bracket. It's the Cincinnati edition. So we'll talk a little bit about that as we are moving forward in the show. But we do have a pretty good show for you. The week that was a little light in news. So we'll probably spend a little more time on the Reds just because I think they are giving us a bit of frustration here in the last couple of weeks. And it's getting close to All-Star break and trade deadline. So I posed some questions to our co-host here. What are we going to do? So we'll find out in that segment. But first, if you like what you're hearing, hit that like and subscribe button. You can find us on YouTube. We are live as we speak. So check us out on the Cincy Sports Scene. And let's go right into the week that was. So FC Cincinnati, they rebounded from that bad loss last Saturday, and they beat FC Dallas 1-0. What takeaways, gentlemen?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch the game. I don't know if you saw it at all, Crawley, or not. But it was kind of a bit of a surprise, since we're missing, basically our two best defenders to hold a, shutout, get a clean sheet out of it. Kind of a throwback to the beginning of the year, just score a goal, hunker down, win 1-0, and get out of there. So that's what it seemed like it was. So proud of them for doing that. That's probably going to be the game plan moving forward until maybe they bring in another center back as a transfer, or until they can, come up with more of a concrete game plan while these guys are out, just to, make adjustments and just kind of get a feel for it. I'd anticipate some more low-scoring games again, like we had at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I did not see it either. I was I didn't actually see them, but I was in Dallas when the FC Cincinnati touched down in Dallas. I was at the airport, and they were at some version somewhere in the airport, but looked like they were. They got obviously a charter plane, and they get off out on the tarmac instead of walking through the riffraff. So, but yeah, I was coming home that day, so by the time I got home, the game was over. By the time I got back to Cincy, it was over. But yeah, I mean, it was a little surprising they shut them out. They hadn't actually had a shutout for like 3-4 weeks or something. So even when they actually had a full roster, so the fact that they basically played, all their whole back line was guys who normally play on the outside, having to play center backs was, I give them a lot of credit for that. So. And scoring wise, they just do the normal, which they just figure out a way to score one more goal than the other team, which is all you need to do. And they did not control the scoreboard thing. Or not the scoreboard, but the stat sheet. They had less possession, they had less shots, they did all those things. But that's that's how it doesn't matter for soccer. It matters what you're on the scoreboard, and they won that. So they move on from that, continue. I think they're still the 2 points behind Miami. I feel like they've been 2 points behind Miami for like 2 months now. As long as Argentina keeps playing in the Copa America, then Messi won't be around. And I think Suarez is playing for Uruguay.
Yeah, he is.
So he won't be there. He won't be with them either. So now I know they didn't win on Saturday as well. So, but they also are a little undermanned as well from the Copa America stuff. I think, the only reason, Miles Robinson's a loss, but that's, a bigger loss because we have two other guys who we've lost as well, where, Miami is missing Messi and Suarez. That's on paper, a really big loss, but we'll see how the schedule plays out.
So got 6 other, top class European dudes on their team somehow. So,
right. So, with their 10 designated player spots.
Yeah.
Hey, they can do it. Let them do it, right? But anyhow, speaking of Messi, they do keep winning. Miami's supposed to come up here.
Couple games, I want to say.
Yeah. So, but Messi probably won't be there. So, all the soccer fans hoping to see him probably won't get a chance to do that. So yeah. Next up, DC on the 3rd of July before the 4th. Any thoughts on that? What's DC have? What do they bring to the table? Nothing. Nothing.
I don't know. I don't know where they're at. I know they were not like top
look here.
3 or 4 teams here. They're one of the original MLS teams.
Yeah.
DC is in 13th place in the East with 20 points, so they're not looking too hot. They don't score a lot of goals, and they give up a bunch of goals. So
there we go.
It's
in our blueprint, right?
Good opportunity to get a win streak going here.
There we go.
You said that's the 3rd. That's this Wednesday.
That's this Wednesday. Yep.
And it's at DC, isn't it?
I believe so. Yes.
I will say DC's field is awful. Outside of New York City's, it might be the worst field in MLS. So you can't just go in there expecting to win because, the ball could be rolling along just fine and then bounce up 4 feet and you got an own goal out of nowhere. So just throwing that out there. You'd think one of the original MLS teams that has their own soccer-specific stadium would have a decent stadium, but they do not.
Well, it's DC, so that's all that needs to be said there. All right, so after that, I know Sam, you want to talk a little bit about the United States men's national team. I know we usually don't carry the national stuff, but just because we are running a little thin on topics here this week, go ahead, have at it.
Yeah, it's basically Greg Berhalter needs to be fired. The team has no direction. They're just kind of out there playing as 11 individuals, just kind of doing their own thing, hoping for the best. He doesn't play, and I try and word this carefully. I guess he doesn't like to play American soccer. He thinks he's some European genius just because he's bald. He thinks he's Pep Guardiola. He thinks he can do the same things. If you look at past U.S. men's national teams when they're at their best, we use our athleticism and we hit teams on the counterattack. That's just where we're at our best. He wants to, play this tiki-taka, Spanish-style football that we just don't have the players for it. And honestly, the players that we do have don't have that old-school, gritty work ethic that we used to see. Individually, it's without a doubt the most talented group of American players we've ever had. But collectively, it's not even close. And the grit is just not there. You have very few players that I think even care to represent the United States. It's just this is the national team that they can represent, so they do. You have to choose carefully because I'm not saying it's a dual national problem, but according to FIFA's rules, I'd be eligible to play for Germany if I was good enough, but I wouldn't have the same motivation to try as hard if I played for Germany, if that makes any sense. So I kind of get the feeling that, there's some of that going around too. And that falls back on the coach because he doesn't hold these guys accountable. And, basically, I got Mexico, Ecuador on right now. Hopefully Mexico loses because if Canada and Mexico both advance and the United States doesn't, that would just be a terrible look. Just absolutely terrible.
Follow up, Crawley, or you just want to just let that go?
No, I watched both games. I try to watch any of those games. I will say, before I get into the men's national team, I hate that Fox has the soccer coverage. It's awful.
Oh yeah, too. Yeah,
I was watching the Canada game yesterday, and they only had one announcer.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've never heard of a game that only had one announcer. Like that's ridiculous.
Was the announcer there, or was he?
No, I'm sure he wasn't. I'm sure he was in the U.S. sitting in the control center.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, they care so little about putting on a good product that they literally have one announcer
That's
for
like
a game.
watching college
Great.
softball on
Yeah.
ESPN3. There's one
Right.
camera
That's what it
view.
felt
Yeah,
like.
like an intern. It's like I think he was the intern. You know, he
Yeah,
just
it's
been
like it's like a parent's
he was the producer that
GoPro on
just
the back fence.
yeah,
And
for
that's all
Landon
you
Donovan's
see.
crew. He was the one that connected all the wires and then stood in the back
Oh.
and made sure they didn't short circuit. I think he was the guy doing the game. So anyway, so that was one. That's my first issue on it. And of course, Fox has everything for the next 4 years or whatever. So yeah, I'm sure I'll get to complaining more about that. But anyway, yeah, I mean, they didn't play well. I mean, Panama. I mean, specifically about the game. I mean, Tim Weah was an idiot. He made a really bad, move and got a red card, which doesn't help when you're playing a man down from 26 minutes on or somewhere around there. And the U.S. had the lead, not long after that. But Panama, which I guess I've never watched Panama play before. I have no reason to, but I figure I probably had at some point in some bad CONCACAF qualifying game. Had watched Panama, but I didn't realize how absolutely dirty they are.
Oh, yeah.
They may have been the most dirty team I've ever seen play international soccer. I mean, their main goal, and even at that point they had 2 announcers for the U.S. game. Even those guys were, and one of them's Landon Donovan, so he's played against them many a times. Like he's like, yeah, they're one of their main goals is to get a red card. That's all. That's one of the things they care about. And so they dive, flop, they do. It was terrible. And then the last 20 minutes, they should have had 3 red cards. The Panama. That one guy got a red card. They should have had 2 more. I mean, they were some of the dirtiest tackles I've seen. And I watch Premier League, and they have serious dirty tackles in that because those guys are, balls to the wall playing. So just for the game itself, it was just an awful game of soccer, from every which way. But U.S. should have won by, on paper that should be a 5-0 win. That team sucks. Panama's terrible, and so everybody goes in. Everybody's at fault as far as I'm concerned with it. So now they got to play the best team in the group. So we'll see, going from the worst team to the best team, and we'll see how they do against a team who could potentially win Copa America. So they'll have to go from playing horribly to playing as probably the best game they've played since Berhalter's been a coach.
That's not going to happen.
Well, you never know, right? I mean, you never know. Sometimes you rise up to the occasion. So let's hope our boys in red, white, and blue can do that. All right, let's move on here to the Reds this past week. Recap: Pirates, they went 1-2, and then St. Louis is finished up 2-2. A couple of takeaways from the Pirates game. Obviously we won the first game again of the series, and I got a little stat here that just mind-boggling. Wednesday, I think it was Wednesday for the day game. We were down at the stadium, and Graham Ashcraft, came back to pitch. He didn't pitch poorly, but the thing that has been plaguing Graham for last year and a half probably is that the Reds give him a lead or they tie it up, he can't hold it. I mean, twice in the Pirates game, the Reds got the lead, blew it on the very next inning, and then the Reds tied it up, and he blew it again. And it's just like he just can't get over that hump there. And so I don't know if he's going to be their 5th starter moving forward here, or if they're going to be looking when Lodolo comes back, moving him to the bullpen or sending him back down. I really don't know, because Carson Spears is pitching really, really well right now, and I think he deserves a spot in the Reds rotation. Cardinals game, 11 runs, 0 runs, 9 runs, 0 runs, 20 runs in 2 games, can't score. Cardinals had a bullpen guy start, sort of like our Nick Martinez, and he shut him down on Friday night.
Yeah, he went like 6 innings.
Yeah, 6 innings. And it's just like, what the heck, And then, base running, bad throws, just, positives from that. Marte back, played decent. First game back, played really well. had a couple of errors in the Saturday game, but rebounded. The team rebounded, and and we won that game. But here's the stat that I had. The Reds have played 19 series here. They've won their last 19 series. They've won 4 series. All right, just 4 out of those 19. But they've won 13 opening games. So, and I guess that's the frustrating part. It's like they're up, they win, they have a chance to win the series, and they lose the next 2, especially if it's a 3-game series. So, thoughts on the Reds, Pirates, Reds, Cardinals, or anything else?
They're just so inconsistent right now. I mean, you said it, 11 runs to 0, 9 runs to 0. Like that swing is just so drastic. I don't know. You can't expect to put any win streaks together when your offense fluctuates like that. In both those games they scored 0 runs. I think today they gave up 2, and Friday they gave up 1.
Mm-hmm.
The pitching staff did. Those are 2 games you should win. You should not lose 2 games in a series where the other team only scores 3 runs combined. And this is the second time in the last 3 series they've done that, because they did it the first time they played Pittsburgh, not this most recent time.
Right.
So 2 times in the last 4 series, basically, they've done that. You're just not going to be anything better than a 500 ball club if that's, And that's basically what they are. Their run differential says they should probably be a little bit better than 500. But they can't get anything. They can't maintain any consistency. They got off to this hot start to start June, and we were, they might be over 500, make a little run here, and they finished the month of June at 500, and
1 game above.
1 game above.
Yeah. 14
So
and 13.
they're essentially the same spot they were coming into the month, and I said that they needed to be at 500 to have a chance to not be sellers and to be buyers and make the playoffs. And here they are sitting 6 games under 500.
6 games under 5, 11 games back, but they're not in last place.
The division's over for them. They have no chance of winning the division.
No. Milwaukee still owns them. Milwaukee owns everybody in the division. We've been saying this. I know Crawley has all year. On paper, they're not better than us. They're not better than anybody else in the division on paper. But yet, here they are yet again. They're going to finish in first place. New manager, new ace of their pitching staff, and they're going to finish in first place here again. So,
I think it comes down to player development, especially for teams like Milwaukee, St. Louis.
Pretty much everybody in the Central except for the Cubs.
Yeah. And, that's what St. Louis was really good at.
Yeah.
Here until recently is the player development piece, right? They would bring up a rookie and, wow, where'd this guy come from? And then they would add a veteran in, sort of like a Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arredondo, a Jim Edmonds back in the day. Just to
shore up the talent.
Yeah, just to help them along the way. And, the Reds player development,
it's spotty at best. Spotty. They had a run where they developed pitchers really well in the late 20 teams, early 2020s. They were developing some pitching.
I don't know if they were developing pitching.
Luis. I count them developing. Luis Castillo, Johnny Cueto. They developed Homer Bailey. Guys like that. Even Volquez until they traded him. He was a pretty solid pitcher that they developed. I guess that's going back a little bit, though.
Yeah.
That's not that as recent as I thought you were saying.
Volquez was in the it was in the 09s or 08s or something.
Yep.
I've said this. We can talk about these individual games all we want, but it goes back to the front office and the ownership. And until they do something different, we're going to be bitching and moaning about, and looking at at best 500 team. We're celebrating 82 and 80 last year. That's cause for celebration around here. That's bad. we celebrate. I said this before on the unpopular opinion, and we celebrate 1999. Team didn't even make the playoffs, and we act like they're the World Series champs that year. I mean,
they had a reunion for them.
I mean, that's how bad it is. So I put it, as much as I complain about David Bell, as much as the players and stuff, it all goes back to a constant, which is the front office is terrible, and the ownership is god awful, and until they make a commitment to win, like a true commitment to win, or then we got to get new ownership in here, and and who knows, So I mean, we bitch and moan about it because it's fun to do. That's all we can do right now. Otherwise, we would just say we're done with them and we literally don't pay attention to them anymore, which I had gotten to with the Bengals back in the 90s, early 2000s. So, at some point I either have to do that with the Reds or just, go in the la land like some of these Reds fans are and act like they are doing well and stuff, and, no, they're not doing well. They haven't done well for 30 years. They've been garbage. So, most cities wouldn't put up with this nonsense. So, we celebrate on teams that don't make the playoffs and 82 and 80 teams. And, we got one player playing above his capability this year, and it's great. We're all on the path to success here. David Bell, manager of the year. Nick Kroll, executive of the year. I mean, come on. So, it boils down to who leads the train here, and we know who that is. And until that changes, then we're going to be, we got Ellie De La Cruz to have fun with for the next few years, and we're going to be battling 80 and 82 and 80 reseasons at best.
Yeah. So, we talk about trades, and I don't think
trades.
I don't think we're going to trade.
I'm going to go Allen Iverson on you here. Trades? What trades?
Yeah.
I mean, trading guys for single A prospects. That's what we're going to be doing.
Well,
I mean, Montas gone. I'd trade them all. I'd trade everybody. What's the point? I mean, that's all we like to talk about around here is prospects and how great our single A players are, kind of stuff. So let's trade Ellie for 5 single A best top prospects, and we can talk about how good they're going to be in 6 years from now. So
until they come up and then they bat 180 and 0 and
then the fan base runs out of patience and why isn't Mike Ford here?
Yeah, those type of things.
Yeah.
But no, we've got 13 games till the All-Star break. 3 against the Yankees, which who knows, right? I mean, we have beaten.
They're going to win game 1.
Yeah, I mean, we have beaten really good teams and really good pitchers. I mean, if you look at the teams that we've beaten and their starting pitchers, it's like, wow, we've actually. But then we just can't follow it up.
I mean, we beat Sonny Gray and get demolished by Lance Lynn, who's not a good pitcher anymore.
No, he's not. But he's 13-5 against the Reds now.
Because we can't hit anything but a fastball, and he doesn't throw fastballs. But notice Ellie was 0 for 4 today.
Yep, he was
against Lance Lynn because he's definitely not throwing him a fastball.
Nope. And then what do you want to call it? So here's the question to you guys, right? We got the Yankees. The next 13 games, you got the Yankees, and then we have Detroit, Colorado, and Miami before the break. Those that's 3 winnable series. My question, and I know the answer already, but I just want to let our fans out there, listen to us here a little bit. We just say we go 1-2 against the Yankees, and then take 7 or 8 out of 10 the next 10. That puts us, 1 or 2 games below 500 going into the All-Star break. Do we call up Detroit? Do we call up Chicago White Sox? Do we call Oakland? Do we call the Angels looking for a right-handed power bat to play the outfield? Or
we should.
Or do we say? Or do we say?
All of us would.
Yeah. I mean, or do we say, oh, let's just ride it out? Or or the worst case is instead of going 8-2, we go 2-8, and then it's time to sell.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I think if we go exactly what you just said, which is 9-4 over the final 13, that would put us at one game under 500. That's no different than us doing the opposite in terms from the front office. We're not selling. We're not buying. We're not buying a power. I mean, yes, all three of us would go after it and make those phone calls, whatever. But we're not dealing with the variable that the Reds are dealing with.
Well, that's true.
Which is a constant variable, which is don't add good payroll. Keep the prospects and keep the fans hoping that these prospects will be great down the road, and that's giving them hope. That's all it is. I mean, I can't just get back to last year. The Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo Hope Fest makes me want to puke from last year. And so that's what we are. And so now it's going to be Matt McLean is coming back at some point.
Well,
we don't need to trade. That's like a free agent right there. CES will bring out his 82 broken limbs that nobody diagnoses, and he'll come out there, maybe in the last game or something. That's what we're going to be. And
but I mean, here's the thing.
Last year was proven. Right? We were in first place last year, and we did nothing.
We got Sam Bull. All right,
we did something.
That's doing nothing. Getting a middle inning left-hander spot reliever who we remember sent down this year. He's so great.
Well, they shouldn't have sent him down. I don't know why they did that.
Yeah. That was all because of he had an option. And
no, it's still ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then what happens? Pagan.
Hunter Green had an option. Send him down.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
So anyway, that's my point. We were in first place last year and we did nothing. So why are we going to do something? Why is there any thought that we're going to do something important when we're going to be in last potential place?
Yeah,
and under 500.
I think we'll end up being sellers. I really do. I think that's the most likely scenario.
You think we're going to bring Montas back? He's going to want more than $16 million to get through this whole year healthy.
Yeah,
he won't be back. So yes, you gotta
cash in on whatever you can get for him.
No, he could be back.
It's your prospect.
I mean, we could pay for him. Right. I mean, it's not like we couldn't. We're paying $8 million to Pagan, and what's he giving us this year?
Nothing. Yeah,
a couple of innings here, and
I mean, is Martinez worth $26 million over 2 years?
No, he. I said it as soon as they signed him. That was stupid.
Is Candelario, even on his little hot streak, worth $45 million over 3 years?
Nope.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, I trade them all.
Yeah. But they're not going to do that.
But what they're going to end up doing is they'll trade India. They're going to cash in while his value's at the peak. And I think that's. At all the guys, that's the wrong guy.
Trade India because he's the heart and soul of the team. I mean, he is the heart and soul.
He is. That's why I think it would be the wrong move. But I've seen it floated out there.
Yeah, I mean, it was floating out there. It's not. He's, they'll get rid of other people before they get rid of India. So. It's but here's two things that the front office, David Bell, and the fan base should recognize. One is that, like you said, Crawley, we can't wait on hope, and last year should have opened up some eyes, and I think it did in the free agency where we got those three guys, spent a little money there. Two, we can't. David Bell is like, well, yeah, McLean, he might be back, might not be back, depending on how it goes. We're hoping that he's back in, August, September. And then CES might be back in October if they're playing baseball.
April.
Yeah, April. And it's like my second point is we can't trust our medical staff. We can't do it. I mean, they've had precedent before, and they've proven over and over again that they have misdiagnosed or refused to put people on the injured list, and we play down three guys. I mean, Fraley with the contusion in the calf, Candelario with the tight hamstring or knee, back of his knee for the last 4 games we've been playing, and then Tyler Stevenson, congratulations to him, giving, his wife they gave birth to a baby girl on Thursday, and he's gone. We were playing 3 men down going into the St. Louis series. We got Marte back, and he goes 3 for 5. We win a ball game. So they're like, oh yeah, we can play down again, and we can't be doing this because you're playing down, and then you're left with Levi,
whatever his last name
Jordan, and Espinal playing the outfield because David Bell loves to tinker righty lefty matchups, take Stu out, and then they, for Martini. Okay, I get that. Martini has a little more pop, might get the home run. Well, Marmol said, check. Here comes the left-hander. So here comes, the counter move by David Bell, and it's Espinal. It's like, you should have just left Stu in there. He would have had a better chance of getting a hit, getting a homer or a double or whatever, instead of Espinal or Martini. I mean, it's just now you're scrambling and moving people around, and you've got Fraley, who you didn't want him to run so much, so now he's playing center field the last inning and a half. It's just like, I don't know. It's just so frustrating that these Reds and the front office are always playing down and don't want to go out and get the people because they value their prospects so much. And it's like, look at the prospects you brought up this year. Spears is the only one that.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even call any of them prospects. They're just dudes that you have to have so you have minor league teams. That's what their pipeline has been this year. And I mean, we've said this in the past. Playing a man down, actually, to David Bell's defense, I guess, hurts him because of his managerial style. He as much as I hate it, he can't manage how he wants to when they're a man, 2 men down. He just can't make the moves that he really wants to. So I mean, they're not helping David Bell out in any way by doing stuff like that. It's incredibly frustrating that that's how they choose to operate this year.
All right. I know I posed the question of if we trade, who would you want to trade and what kind of package? But it sounds like we're not doing that. So just because I mean, I had a couple of names.
Again, I've said before, I would trade anybody that's not on the major league roster is up for trade.
I would trade some.
But I'm saying anybody that's not.
Yeah.
Anybody who's not from the top prospect to the 400th prospect, to me, are they helping the Reds right now? Is the question I always ask. Are they helping them right now? The answer is no, then they should be traded. Now, the guys that are on the current roster, none of them guys that you're talking about that you would trade are tradable because they're not even major league players.
Right.
I mean,
if
you look at the line, even today's lineup, I mean, your bottom 5 guys that I'm looking at the lineup right now, from Fairchild to Maley down, that entire group, Fairchild, Martini, Espinal, Benson, Jordan, Maley, none of them are major league players, at least hitters. So trade all them guys, but nobody would take any of them for a bucket of baseballs. So that, what do you, but yeah, I would trade anybody. I would, but I unfortunately it's not going to happen. So
no, it's probably no. So
I mean, in India, I would trade him for the right trade. He's gone. I mean, the only person I would not trade is De La Cruz unless they were willing to give me, I would take Shohei for
Alien. Yeah. They wanted to do a straight swap, but no, they pay his deferment still,
But no one else on that roster, is even an all-star. So how can you not say you wouldn't trade India? He's not an all-star player. He's been hot for 2-3 weeks now, but he's still not an all-star player. I mean, come on. Again, we're accepting mediocrity. We're accepting that we wouldn't trade a guy who's not even an all-star.
Hey, somebody's got to be an all-star.
It's not going to be India. And if it is,
Probably know
and
it.
if it is, it's because we don't have anybody that can be an all-star. So just the way it is.
David Bell's the all-star.
Yeah, I know he is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't know how he pulled that one off.
For the cycled.
Yeah. Great.
All right.
So I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what the. I mean, this unfortunately, we're turning the page to 2025.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and they're going to write it off to injury, so they're not going to do a damn thing in the offseason. So.
Yeah. Their acquisitions are going to be McLean and CES.
Yep.
Right.
And that's what they're going to sell us.
Is going to jump into the rotation, and then
and 50% of the fan base is going to eat that up, and the Castellinis are going to have eaten out of the palm of their hand, eating their produce or whatever. So
you have gullible guys like me buying season tickets, so because I was like, yes.
Yeah, it's all your fault. Yeah.
No, it is my fault.
Line in their pockets, man.
My fault.
I mean, it's just unfortunate because last year at this time we were excited about the Reds.
Yeah.
There was excitement, there was fun, they were, all that stuff. All those, they weren't winning every game, but they were at least in it. They were, battling, they were whatever, and then they
were
did
never
the typical.
Out of it, right?
Yeah.
They had so many comebacks. They were never out of it. This team,
and then this team this year is just
this
the
team's
opposite
down more
of
than
that.
2 runs. You're like,
this team's not even. It's not fun to watch. It's back to just like here we go. We got 3 guys that can hit. We're gonna get shut out at every 3rd game. Kind of stuff. So it's just I don't know. It's just unfortunate.
Let's move on to the pitcher of the week, hitter of the week, and who should be demoted. I don't know if anybody should be demoted because who do we got to take their place?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're factoring that in, no one can be demoted.
All right, so let's go pitcher of the week. I think mine. I got to go with Spears. I mean,
I put him as well.
2 solid starts.
I mean, I thought Hunter Green had a great start today, but his previous start he was not very good.
When he threw up on the mound.
But yeah. At least he didn't do that today. So.
And they left him in.
Yeah.
60 pitches in 2 innings. He's like, underhydrated, one of the 2. But yeah. All right. I think Spears, clean sweep there. Hitter of the week.
Should be another clean sweep. Yeah,
we're going to say, I assume India.
Yep.
India, yeah. I mean, he has been on a tear since end of May. I mean, he's batting 340 or something like that in the last month. It's just
8 straight games with a double.
Yep.
MLB record. So.
Yep. Almost. I mean, Perez holds the most consecutive 2-game hits or multiple game hits at 11. And India went 1 for 4 today with that double. But yeah, and this all coincides. This is the other point I was going to make. This all coincides with Jonathan India moving back to the leadoff spot.
Yep.
He's comfortable there. He loves it there, and he's producing. And it's like, leave him there, David Bell.
TJ Friedl with his 200 batting average had to lead off.
Just leave him there.
Because he can bunt, so he's got to be in the leadoff spot.
Put him at number 2.
Put him at 9. Let him turn the lineup over if you want him to be your leadoff hitter.
Yeah, but I don't know. So, all right. Who are we sending down?
For me, I'm just gonna say the Levi dude. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
Levi dude.
Well,
I put Benson again. He's still doing nothing.
He had a couple of hits
in the series.
In the series, yeah, a couple of hits.
We're celebrating a couple of hits in a series.
That's better than what he's been doing.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it still should be celebrated again.
He might turn the corner. He might.
Oh my God, anybody could turn the corner. I mean, he's batting 190 right now, 0 for 2 again today with another strikeout. I mean, no, Benson should be demoted.
I won't argue. I think, I mean, I don't know. I could go with either one of those guys.
Well, again, Martini, Espinal, Benson, Jordan, all of them should be demoted.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised Espinal with Marte back. When Friedel comes back, I wonder.
I think he's the odd man out when Friedel comes back. I would think.
Who, Espinal?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless they go Benson.
He's the backup infielder.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
Espinal is almost locked in. He can't. It's going to be Martini. Oh no, it's going to be Levi Jordan is who it would be
Levi
right now.
Jordan's going to be gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when Lodolo comes back next week, I think it is.
It might be Ashcraft sent back down.
It might be Ashcraft sent back down.
I think it will be. He'll get sent back down, and if they're smart, they'll start working him out of the bullpen. They'll give up on him as a starter idea, and he'll start working out of the bullpen.
And then the Lucas Sims spot.
Yeah, he'll take somebody's spot come August.
Yeah. All right, so there you have it. Let's move on here. Like I said, next week, next up, Yankees and Detroit Tigers. We'll be there Sunday for the bobblehead, Graham Ashcraft bobblehead.
So, in a river bat uniform.
City Connect uniform, but yes, yeah, he probably won't even be on the team.
Right.
Graham Ashcraft. They'll what they'll do is who's ever starting that game, if it's Carson, they'll get a little picture of Carson and they'll just tape it on every single
tape his face to Graham Ashcraft's body.
Get a little Sharpie and black out, the Graham Ashcraft name. Yeah.
What number? What day is that?
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday.
Yeah, against the Tigers. So yeah, or knowing the Castellinis, they'll hold it until he comes back.
Well, yeah. They won't send him down until after. They'll send him down on Monday.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So.
Right. All right. Let's go to our trivia question of the week here. All right. If you want to participate with this, you can do it a couple of different ways. One, if you are watching us live, you can go ahead and put it in the comments there in the live stream. If you know the answer. If not, if you're listening to us on your favorite listening device, you can always check us out on Instagram or Twitter at Cincy Sports Scene, and you can shoot us a message there with your answer. So last week, Charlie had the question. I don't believe, did we get it all? Or?
Yeah, you guys did. Yep. It was different players of the year type award winners.
All right. So we got that. You want to just real quick review the winners?
Yeah. So it was the most recent winners of various MLB awards. So Rookie of the Year was India in 2021. Cy Young was Bauer in 2020. Manager of the Year was Jack McKeon, 1999. Gold Glove winner 2020 with Tucker Barnhart, and MVP was Joey Votto in 2010.
See, we're not the only ones that are celebrating the 99 team. MLB, Jack McKeon.
Great.
There. All right, Sam has the question.
I'm sure whoever won the World Series is pissed off because their manager didn't get Manager of the Year. So
they might be. You never know.
Yeah, I'm sure they would trade positions with the 99 Reds.
I'm not sure some of our fan base would trade that. I think they're quite happy, with that 99 team.
It was a good team, man. It was a good team. That was back in the day where only 2 teams made the playoffs. So.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll get to my trivia here.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So a little NBA draft trivia, since the NBA draft was this past week. Either of you know who went number 1 overall?
Some French dude.
Rishisher, however, Zachary Rishisher or something.
Yeah, yep.
Then two French guys go number 1 and 2, didn't they?
1 and 2, yep. So this trivia question is, since the start of the one and done era, so 2006 onward, there has only been one non-one and done / international player drafted number 1 overall. Who is that player? Who was that?
What year? 06?
Since 06, since the one and done era started.
God, if you wouldn't have put that thing on, I would have said Kenya Martin. So
the last.
Somebody played at least 2 years in college.
Yeah, at least
2 years in college.
Yep, to be the number 1 overall pick.
I'd have
Oh,
to think about this for a while. Blake Griffin?
Yeah, there you go. You got it. Blake Griffin.
Oh.
Yep.
Blake Griffin.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay.
Blake Griffin in 2009.
2009.
I was going to say Embiid, but he only played a year, and he might have been considered international too. Hell, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, he wasn't even number 1. He was number 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Andrew Wiggins was number 1 that year.
Oh, the Wigster.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome.
Yep, you got it. So.
Good job, Crawley. You know your NBA. Perfect. All right. Moving forward, next week I'll have the trivia. We are going into our topic of the week, which is the great debate since, the two presidents, or one president and the one former president, had the debate on Thursday night, and talking sports handicaps.
Yeah, but isn't ours called the Great Debate?
Yes, it is.
Okay,
ours is called the Great Debate.
Then you can't use any kind of similarity then. So
well, they were talking golf handicaps, which was awesome.
Yeah, I didn't think it was real. I thought that was AI when I saw that clip. I was like, "There's no way. There's no way."
But that got us thinking. Let's do a NCAA bracket type and great debates. So this one is the Cincinnati edition, and I have sent some questions to the guys ahead of time and gave them, they're arguing for this or they're arguing against it. So, and then I'm going to be the judge, and I'll see who moves on. So here, the very first question, the number 1 seed, number 1 bracket here. Sam is going to answer the question: Is Cincinnati a Bengals town? And Crawley then will have to say, is Cincinnati a Reds town? So they're going to debate. They're going to have like a minute and a half. Let me get my timer on. So
this is after I just bashed the Reds for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So if we got a timer set for a minute, what? A minute? Is that good, Sam?
Yeah, minute's fine.
Right, let me
might not even use the whole minute.
1 minute. Ready and begin. Here we go.
Yeah, so Cincinnati is a Bengals town now. I've kind of looked at it. I kind of broke it down. Modern era, 2010 onward. Bengals have way more playoff appearances. They've got more playoff success. They've got more recognizable players. Joe Burrow is probably the biggest athlete Cincinnati's had since junior, maybe since Ken Griffey Jr. He's a Bengal. Second most recognized athlete, Jamar Chase. He's a Bengal. The Bengals are a little more forward thinking. Their ownership group is as stingy as they used to be. They've progressed. They've modernized at least a little bit, which has helped. I think the fan base has recognized that. The Bengals sell out routinely. It's a little different. Fewer games per year. I get that, but they sell out routinely now. And honestly, I think it just boils down to regular season and postseason success. Bengals have done that.
Time up. All right. A lot to think about there. All right, Crawley. You ready?
Yeah, good luck.
All right, go.
Go.
Yep. Reds
Well, I think Cincinnati, I think every city, not just Cincinnati, but we, like everybody, love championships, and the Reds are the only team that has any championships. The Bengals still have not won anything. They haven't won. So Reds have championships. Yes, they've been a while ago, but that nostalgia. We also a city that likes history and tradition and nostalgia and those things. And I think the Great Eight, I think the Big Red Machine is almost more well known today than the Bengals of today, other than maybe Joe Burrow. I mean, more Cincinnati, unless you're 25 and under, you still know the Big Red Machine, and they can probably name more of those guys than Bengals. Current Bengals. Ellie De La Cruz is, very popular. You go anywhere around Cincinnati, you see De La Cruz jerseys now. So he is there. Granted, he's not Joe Burrow yet, but, he's moving up the ranks in that. They have a young team. There's a lot of excitement around them with all their young players. Reds opening day is still the biggest event in town.
All right. You both gave some very good arguments here. But I've got to go with Reds as Cincinnati town. So, and that's
Yeah, it's like the economy. What have you done for me lately? One franchise is a winner, the other's a loser. So.
But I'm going with Reds. All right, the bracket number 2.
One team's not aligning payroll to resources. So,
well,
throw that out there.
Okay. It's over. Sorry. Reds, move on. All right, you can redeem yourself here.
Yeah, I bet Mike Brown's handicap is better than Phil Castellini.
Oh, God. That one's coming up. No chance on that one.
No. All right. Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? This is number 2. Sam, you got yes. Crawley, you have no.
All right, Crawley's going first on this one.
Yeah, Crawley will go first on this one and begin.
Yeah, I'm a no. He broke the cardinal rule in all of sports, not just baseball. But baseball, it's you're going to be suspended for life. It's not like NFL where the one dude, the receiver from the Jaguars, only he got a year or whatever. So you're going to be suspended for life. There's a guy recently, Padre. I think he was a Padre player that happened to this year. So this isn't some outdated gambling rule. This is still going on. He knew it. He broke it. And in addition, his apologies have been about as sincere as me talking about how much I love Castellini. So there, he shows no remorse. It's just I did it, whatever. It's all about I got caught. Every year he's still out hawking apparel during Hall of Fame time. Being kind of a dick about it. So he hasn't tried to redeem himself at all. I think he's hit. All those different areas.
All right. Thank you. All right. So, Sam, you are for Pete Rose. Go.
Yeah. So, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. He's the hit king, all-time hit leader. For those of us that have been to the Hall of Fame, he's in the Hall of Fame. He's all over the place. He just doesn't have a plaque. Why is he in the museum but not in the Hall of Fame? Let's coordinate this here. If he's in the museum, he should be in the Hall of Fame. So I think the answer is yes on that front. Also, MLB is taking billions of dollars from these gambling. If you're FanDuel, why not just pay a little bit more and get Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame? One of your stipulations. Sports gambling is legalized pretty much everywhere now at this point. Nobody cares. It's not frowned upon by anybody. There's no more mob ties to it. It's time to modernize the game. Baseball introduced a pitch clock for crying out loud. They put a time limit on things. I don't see the harm in it. This isn't Chicago Black Sox where he was out here throwing games, throwing World Series. So he should be in the Hall of Fame.
All right, another 2 good debates. I'm going to side with Sam. I think he belongs in the Hall of Fame. Especially with the argument that Major League Baseball is in bed with the bookies. I think he should. All right, number 3 here. All right, so which one is the fans' favorite announcer? Sam, you've got Marty. Crawley, you got Joe. So Marty Brennaman or Joe Nuxall? Who is the fan favorite? Go.
Yeah, so it's Marty because he was around for forever. He was the play-by-play guy, one of the best in baseball, Hall of Famer. People grew up with Marty. They loved, listening to Marty on the radio. Basically, he was around also when the Reds were winning. I think that plays a part in some of that. People remember him fondly. People also, I think, appreciate the fact that he could be critical of the Reds at times. He wasn't, just a company man. He would be critical of the Reds, maybe even to a fault a little bit at times. But I definitely think that that's well respected. He's source of pride for the city of Cincinnati. You know, all around baseball, people knew who the Reds play-by-play guy was. It was Marty Brennaman. And I think that's a great source of pride, you know, for the city of Cincinnati. And yeah, I mean, that's what I got on Marty.
All right. Give you an extra point for not using all the time. Good.
Oh, I thought we lose a point if we don't use that time.
All right. I have to shut your mic off. We got mute buttons here. So.
Right. Yeah.
All right, Crowley. Your turn. Joe Nuxall.
Okay. So Joe's the fan favorite because he is a fan. Just like I use Dave Lapham as the parallel. Everybody loves Dave Lapham, and Dave Lapham is like Joe Nuxall. You know, he gets excited in the booth. He's like a fan in the booth. You know, you equate Joe Nuxall with the Reds. I mean, he was a Red, like played for the Reds even. So, I mean, you have that nostalgia. He was the youngest player ever to play in the major leagues during a time of war. So there's all kinds of good nostalgia there. Joe Nuxall, who hasn't been with us for how many years now, still is talked about a lot. You got the Joe Nuxall Foundation, which still brings in a lot of money, does a lot of great things around the city. The Miracle League out here in Fairfield is tied to Nuxall. So Brennaman is an announcer, and everybody likes Brennaman as an announcer, but he doesn't have the overall community impact and overall, like, kind of this, you know, everybody, you know, Joe Nuxall is kind of overseeing so many more things than just being a great announcer of a baseball game.
That's a tough one here because I like both of them. Some of my favorite, listening to the Reds and, you know, listening to Nuxall go crazy when Joe Oliver hits the ball down the third base line. And just, you know, Marty, you know, he's attributed with, and this one belongs to the Reds.
Rounding third and coming home.
Coming home, I know.
That's on the stadium.
You guys didn't mention either of those, so you got to debate that, you know. But I'm gonna have to go with Joe. I think he's more of the fan favorite. If you don't remember anything Marty says, I mean, he's just so good at it. You just don't remember anything that he says, except for this one belongs to the Reds. But Nuxall, you know, you can hear him. There's a drive to left, right, no center. You know, I mean, those type of things. And I think everybody who's listened to Marty and Joe, I think they have those Joe Nuxall memories. So, and plus he had the start of the game, right? I mean, so Joe Nuxall is who I'm going with there. All right, question number 4. We have which family is the better owner, the Castellinis or the Browns? So, Crawley, you get to go first with the Castellinis.
I decided I'm gonna take an L on this one, and I am refusing to speak well about the.
I did this on purpose.
I refuse to speak well of the Castellini. So
you got a minute.
Sam can have my 2 minutes. He can have my minute and his minute to talk about the Browns.
You could tell them what they need to do. Come on, you got 50 seconds left.
Nope, not doing it.
He's not doing it. All right, Sam, go ahead with the Browns.
Yeah, I'll happily accept my point here. But you know, this is like discussing would you rather be constipated or have diarrhea. You know, neither one's a great option. But I think I would rather be constipated. So, you know, that's why the Browns would be the best owners. And like I said previously, they have at least attempted to modernize a little bit. So, you know, I think that gives them the edge there. Now, if we were talking outside of sports, it would be the Castellinis because of their produce. You know, they got some high quality produce. But
yeah, I mean, the only thing I will say this, since I gave them my minute, I'll take 5 seconds back. The only thing the Castellinis, I will say, they do a better job than the Browns on outside of the game stuff. You know, the Reds have a lot more. They have the community foundation. They have the what is it called? The December thing. When they at Reds Fest, they have. I mean, compared to the Browns, they are much better in that. But they could drop all that if they would win. So that stuff doesn't matter to me as much. So,
all right, default. The Brown family takes the nugget. Okay, number 5. Question 5 in our bracket here. Which university has the?
I'm glad you gave this one to Sam.
Yeah, I had to after the last.
Well, to the Castellinis, yeah. I deserve this one.
Which program has the better basketball? Which university has the better basketball program right now? X or UC? So Sam.
Yeah, I've got X.
Hold on a second. Let me reset this here. All right, go.
Yeah, I've got X. Basically, they've got a better head coach. I think Sean Miller is a better head coach than Wes Miller. I think the Cintas Center is better than Fifth Third. That's really, I mean, I don't have too much positive to say about Xavier. They made the NCAA tournament more recently than UC did. So if you're talking strictly wins here, in the past, I guess, coming up, it doesn't look so hot for our Xavier fellas. So I can't really make a good argument for them. It's out of good faith. I can't do it.
It's tough for a UC grad. All right, Crowley, let's hear it. Why the Bearcats are better?
Yeah, I think the key era for this is right now. Right now UC start out with the Big 12, best basketball conference in the country. They're recruiting at a Big 12 level. They actually have 2 top 50 freshmen coming in, and Xavier is not getting any of those guys. I mean, they're just going transfer portal 100% almost. So UC's doing a better balance of bringing guys in transfer portal and freshmen. They have higher rated players right now. I would give Sean Miller over his history. Wes Miller doesn't have that history. But Wes Miller, I think, is doing a very, very good job dealing with a very, very difficult situation, moving from a C level conference to an A+ level conference. And they were competitive last year. A few balls drop and a few others don't from the other team, and they make the NCAA tournament, have a winning record in the Big 12 in their first year. So second year, things are looking really, really good.
All right. Nobody mentioned the crosstown shootout. Who had the better?
Well, I wouldn't mention that. Should have been
I
Sam.
know, since you didn't mention that, that's the only thing that matters in the all Cincinnati bracket is who's better. But since you didn't mention that, I have to go with UC. So
no, I'm not too beat up about it.
All right, so we are on number 6 in the great debate. So this is right up our alley. Who is the better sports talk radio host here in town? Mo Egger or Lance McAllister? And Crawley, you go first with Lance. Oops, hold on a second. And go.
Well, he's been around a lot longer. He's at would be considered the number 1 host, radio host in the city, just due to the fact that he hosts the 700 evening show. And so he's got that position down. He's got more experience. I think he's more well known, kind of a bigger influence on all the social media platforms than Mo is. I think he's a little more level-headed, maybe even a little, sometimes almost too much level-headed about things that are going on with the Reds. I mean, he's got a lot more patience than I do, especially as a voice talking about these things. But at times that's good. So I would take Lance in this debate.
All right, Sam, Mo Eggard, go.
Yeah, Mo, one UC fan. So that's big in Cincinnati. Definitely rather have a UC fan talking college basketball than a Xavier fan. So that's 1 point for Mo. I also like how Mo is more of a fan, I think, than Lance said. I like how he's not afraid to be critical. At times he can be a little overcritical, I will admit that, but he's not afraid to offer up his criticism. He's also got the Tony and Mo football show every Monday during football season, him and Tony Pike. So he's talking with former pro athletes on a consistent basis, whereas Lance doesn't have that over at 700. Mo's also been on some national radio programs as a fill-in host or just guest appearances. Listen to him on the main ESPN radio all the time. He's making appearances over there. I think he's a little more nationally known. If he's not in Cincinnati, I think more people nationally know who Mo is.
It's gonna be tough because both make some very good points. Now, Crawley, I probably would have slided with you if you'd have said that, Lance has the 50 beers and 50-mile radius type thing,
That's right, he does. Yeah.
That would have, probably would have put him over the top. But I'm gonna have to go with Mo. I like Mo. I like the fact that Sam brought up that he does, the football show with Tony Pike. Big UC fan, so both of you are appreciative of that. Yeah, I mean, I think Mo wins this bracket. All right, 2 more. So number 7. Here we go. Which side? This is a Cincinnati thing. Which side is the best side, East or West? Sam?
I don't have a minute for this.
You got.
I need about 20 seconds.
Well, that's fine. So Sam goes first with the East side. Go.
Basically, my whole argument stems on 71. It's just not a piece of crap highway. There's less traffic, less chance that you're going to get in a car accident because for whatever reason, people seem to drive better over on that side of town. That's really my whole argument. It's just 71. It's just a much better highway than 75.
Okay.
Hey, Sam just added to my argument. I just thought about something with that. So.
All right, here we go, Crawley. I guess you got a minute. To West side's the best side. Go.
Yeah, I wasn't originally going to start here, but I'll start. West side is 74, not 75. So 75 divides them.
Yeah.
So 74 is as good as 71. I mean, it's not the traffic issue. You get moving along and all that stuff. So that I would counter with that. I think the West side is just more Cincinnati. I think that's the identity of Cincinnati is the West side. It's the Catholic Church festivals. It's the you got some high schools that everybody identifies with on the West side. St. X is probably not considered West Side, but the East Side only has one, whereas West Side is more. So a lot of these things that we think about with Cincinnati, is just as true, just kind of its identity are really West Side stuff. East Side's much more, people moving in and out. There's a lot more people from the outside world. The West Side is very isolated, and this people living there their whole lives, and nobody's allowed to move in, sort of thing. But that's how they just know everything, and they grow up that way.
So, as our good friend Phil Farr would say, the East Side's a little hoity-toity.
You're right, little
hoity-toity. West Side's blue.
The kingdom.
Yes, the kingdom. Well, Sam, we have to go. We have to go West Side there, just because.
Yeah. No, I can't blame you.
71. I mean, well. All right, and the last question here on the great debate is the best chili restaurant, Skyline or Gold Star? So, Sam has Skyline. Crawley, you got Gold Star, and Crawley, you get to go first with Gold Star. Go.
Well, this is really going to be tough. I will say through much of my lifetime, I actually have liked Gold Star cheese conies better. I don't know what their hot dogs and everything. I don't know what it is about it. Just better wise. Gold Star is more of a complete restaurant than Skyline. I mean, Skyline is their chili, whereas Gold Star has really good hamburgers and other things beyond just being a chili restaurant. So Gold Star has kind of transformed itself over the last 10 years or so to a lot more offerings, make it a more complete restaurant, and they continue to build them. So they are successful around the greater Cincinnati area.
All right, thank you for that. And now Sam, Gold Star or
so the
Skyline.
Yeah, the question was best chili restaurant, not best overall restaurant. So because of that fact, it's just got to be Skyline. They have the best chili. I've never had a frozen hot dog from Skyline, whereas I had that multiple times. The couple times I ventured over to Gold Star, I had 2 frozen hot dogs on both of my conies. So, a little personal bias aside, Skyline, friendlier service. I just get a better feel out of most skylines I frequent, waiters and waitresses seem to actually be happy to work there. Whereas Gold Star, I don't get that being the case. And Skyline, just the blue and yellow, just cleaner look for a restaurant than the red and yellow. I don't like red as a restaurant color. That's a sports team color. So yeah, I mean, Skyline definitely clears all around.
All right. Well, Carl, if you'd have added this one little nugget in there, I probably would have went Gold Star. The last time the Reds made won a playoff series, Gold Star was the official chili of the Reds. So,
yeah, that long
so,
ago though.
That long ago, yes. So I'm just saying, if you'd added that little piece in, I probably would have went Gold Star. But Skyline, it is. So there we have it. So we have, it's the Reds town. Yes, Pete Rose should be in. Joe Nuxall is the best announcer here, fan favorite. The Brown family is the better of the two front offices. UC right now has the better basketball program. Mo Egger is the better sports host. The West Side is the best side here in Cincinnati. And Skyline reigns supreme when we talk chili. So what we are going to do, how this is going to work next week, Charlie's going to take the great debate on baseball. And it doesn't have to be Cincinnati because this was just the Cincinnati bracket. So he's going to have stuff about baseball, and then Sam and I will debate those two things. And then Sam will do basketball, and then I'll come back with football, and then we'll revisit these to get down to the next round. And then finally we'll have the final four out of all the brackets, and then we'll have one big, great debate on that. So that's how we're going to roll this. Now, we're not going to do this every single week until we're finished. We will add different topics in there as well. But we'll revisit this round 2 of the Cincinnati bracket here in a few weeks. So until then, gentlemen, you got anything to add?
Nope.
Yeah, Reds Yankees coming up. See if the Reds were swept last year in Cincy. So let's see how we do going to New York. But I don't know how you remember the last time we played at Yankee Stadium, how we did?
I think we might have won 1, or maybe 2. I don't know.
Yeah, I've got no idea. I don't have any memories of them playing at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah.
No. So all right.
So good luck.
So good luck to the Reds, and good luck to FC Cincy and DC on the 3rd, and stay for the 4th, Independence Day in your capital. That'd be great. But until next week, everybody, take care.
Yep.